Good evening, everyone. I'm really hoping that I am now live for the first time on Nat's Natter on Facebook. As a team, we've realised how many new people are following, and we haven't really introduced ourselves and what we do. So that's what this is going to be about. Every Thursday, you'll be having a catch up with me, someone that I'm working alongside, someone that I'm helping, or maybe it'll be a customer success story so that we can show you a little bit about what we do. Because it's easy for us to think, oh yeah, we're connected, you can tell from the things that I say, but quite obviously you can't, because I've had so many comments from people saying, well, what is it that you actually do? So that's what this is about tonight. So if you're listening in for the first time, just want to say hi. And for those of you that actually don't know me, maybe you've sent me a friend request, maybe who knows how you get connected, because social media is just pretty incredible these days. My name's Natalie, quite obviously. My background was in marketing. I got made redundant twice. So I know what it's like for a lot of people right now having their incomes taken off them. It's pretty damn horrible. And I can remember exactly how that felt. And that was going back, 18, 20 years ago now. I can't even believe how quickly time goes. So I got made redundant a second time, and that actually coincided with me being pregnant with my son, and made the best or easiest decision for me to be a mum at home, because that's always what I'd wanted to be, because I've just always loved kids, always been very, very maternal. So it was always my plan to be able to look after them. Now, my mum had been working with this company for 10 years. And to be honest, she'd done my head in for 10 years talking to me about the business opportunity and saying to me, Nat, you know what, you'd be really good at this. And I was just like, for God's sake, Mum, I am not interested. And this went on for years and years and years, because I guess I wasn't open to doing something else. And that's what a lot of this is about, really. It's about the time being right for you. Nobody can convince you to do this type of industry. You're either looking for change or you're not. And that's where I was in my life. So I was there with two little ones at that point. Will was just 2 and Rosie was just 5 months old. And Mum was saying, Nat, take a look. This would work amazingly. I'd massively lost my confidence, I think, from not having worked for a few years, and kind of forgotten, what I was capable of. And my mum was saying, look, I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to show you what to do. You're not going to do any of it on your own. And that's kind of how I got started. And I thought if I could earn a few £100 a month just to make a difference, then that would be amazing. Fast forward a few years, I sadly split up with my husband and became a single mum to Will and Rosie, although, they're very much see their dad, and we are in fact very good friends. And but I needed to earn more money. So I just looked at the business differently and worked it more as a full-time job rather than just seeing it as a bit of extra pocket money on the side. So fast forward 15 years, and I'm so grateful that my mum reached out to me for 10 years and kept on saying, Nat, have a look, because I wouldn't be in the situation that we're in now. I've been able to put Will through a private education, Will and Rosie actually, for a private education for the last 7 years. We've been able to, go on some amazing holidays. My God, I'm missing those. I cannot wait until we can hear the wheels of our suitcase going through the airport again. My God, it's just a dream to be able to do that. Realize how trapped we feel right now, really. So yeah, it's enabled us to travel the world, and renovated my dream home. And doing that, I met an amazing builder who then became my husband. And then we've got Phoebe as well. So Phoebe's now 3. So the last 5 years, I've worked the business really quite part-time. But at the start of this year, I thought, you know what, I want to up my game and really show Phoebe, my 3-year-old, the same work ethic that Will and Rosie have seen. So I decided I was going to grow the business and keep on moving it forward. And then COVID hit. And, you know, COVID has changed so much within our industry, but, you know, we are some of the lucky ones because we've actually grown. You know, the opportunity is absolutely huge. And for us, we've changed entirely how we work. You know, for the 15 years before, I'd been going out into people's homes, talking to people one-on-one, and we've taken the whole business online, and it's literally helped us absolutely fly. So what I'm going to do tonight is just to introduce you to some of the girls I've been working alongside. And we get so many questions all the time about this industry and how it works. So I thought what I would do is literally get the girls to give you their answers and and for you to hear a little bit about them. So I'm going to start off, and feel free, by the way, to pop us any questions in the comments, and we'll do our best to get back to you, whether that's live or whether that's after. We'll see how it goes because we haven't done this before. But yeah, no question's a silly question, whether that's direct to our inbox or in the comments. We'll do our best to get back to you. So let me introduce my very good friend, Tina. Tina, we have worked together, my God, for 12 years now. Can you believe it?
No.
And can you believe we randomly met on the stairs in the place of work? We didn't even know each other, did we?
No.
And now we've travelled the world together. And, well, tell everyone your story and how we actually met.
Yes, very, very random. Hi, Nat. Good evening, everyone. So, yeah, it was the very beginning of 2009. And anyone that had their own business then will recall we were in a recession back then as well. So not too dissimilar to right here, right now. And I was a physiotherapist at the time. I'd worked in the NHS and private practice, and I was just leaving my clinic one evening and I randomly bumped into Natalie, and we had a little chat, and I wasn't looking for anything else. I had a great physiotherapy business, loved what I did, loved helping people. I'd been a physio at that point for 13 years. However, it was a bit like now in that there were some months I couldn't quite guarantee how many patients would come through the door. I mean, it wasn't as extreme as lockdown. I was still going to work, but some months were a little bit quieter than others. So I was worried about those months when there wasn't quite as much money coming in. So I took a look and just saw something that was completely flexible and could maybe give me just that few £100s a month on the slightly quieter months. And yeah, I was a bit apprehensive, I suppose, because I was nervous. I was definitely a mum and a physio. I didn't consider myself a businesswoman, certainly not a global businesswoman back then. And things just went brilliantly. So I loved what I did. So I juggled everything, mum, business, physio clinic for 3 years. And then just nearly 9 years ago now, I decided to sort of not be a physio anymore. My back was getting worse as everyone else's was getting better. And my income from this had just overtaken what I could possibly earn as a private physiotherapist. So it just took away that worry and also allowed me to, you know, initially it was that extra few £100s a month, but actually longer term, what it's done is given me complete financial security, and it's enabling me, and has done for the last 9 years, to work with this company, to look after the kids on my own when needed, and also to do some charity work. So it's enabled me to have that real sort of work, life, family balance, I suppose you'd call it. So yeah,
something quite interesting, Tina, when I go back to us having talked to each other, I actually phoned you about 20 times to get you to look at the business opportunity. And I'm sure there's people listening in, and maybe I've spoken to them, you've spoken to them, and they have to come back to us if we haven't gone back to them, because, you know, it is literally about the time being right. And yeah, 20 times, and then what happened?
Yeah, I mean, certainly I didn't really think that I wanted or needed to do anything else. I was very much, like I said, in that sort of mum and physio bubble. And I suppose I was a bit apprehensive about doing something that was different and that was new to me. So yeah, I think that's why I avoided your call, if I'm honest.
And especially as you didn't even know me, because I was just some mad woman who met on the stairs with me holding up a product that you recognised.
Yeah, that was true. I recognised the product, and then yeah, I used the product, and I obviously loved it. And so in the end, I did answer your call. So yeah. Sorry.
But yeah, so if you're listening in and thinking you've spoken to one of us before or one of your friends, then just get back to them, because the time now is pretty amazing. So Tina, I know one of the questions you've been asked a lot is from people saying to you, well, what if I don't want to do it anymore? What if I want to stop?
Yeah, certainly. Because I know, with certain things, even, physiotherapy, beauty, nails, those sort of professions, any sort of nurses that are working in private clinics, you sign a contract to often rent that room. And certainly with a lot of businesses, you have to sort of sign some sort of contract. So no, there are no contracts to sign. You are not sort of beholden to do any amount of work. It's completely your business. So there's no restrictions. You can do as much or as little as you want. And,
and if you want to stop, you just stop.
Yeah. In fact, I've taken some sort of chunks of time out due to personal reasons over the last 12 years. I've kept my customers looked after. I've kept things ticking over, but I have taken that time out when I've needed to. So, yeah.
No, but equally, if someone gets started with us and a month later they think, do you know what, this isn't for me, then they just stop.
It's up to them. Yeah.
And they can even return their products and get the money back on those products that are unopened, which is, pretty win-win situation. Yeah. So again, another question that we get asked a lot is about trainings. Do people actually have to go to trainings? And this is quite an interesting one for us in the changes, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, there's nothing to say you have to do any training, but if you don't do any training, you're not going to have any knowledge, and then you're not going to build a successful business. So, it's your choice what training you do and what you get involved in. So back 12 years ago, there wasn't very much online. I know as a team, we started to do some things online, but I remember early days sitting on the phone, like having kind of, I suppose you call it teleconferencing training. Yeah. But then we started doing a bit online, and over the years we've done a lot of online stuff together. There's global training from the global head offices, UK head offices. There has been things online, but literally in March when COVID hit, I would say in about 3 or 4 days, the company globally have been amazing in just switching everything fully online. I mean, hopefully again we will be back out there in the big wide world, mingling again with everyone and each other. But in the sort of meantime, there are sort of Facebooks. I love the Facebook training. We have webinar training. There's recordings. There's loads of stuff on YouTube. And then again, hopefully soon we'll be back sort of popping into head office and sort of training around the country. And of course,
and the beauty is whether you've got a phone or a laptop, you can do it from absolutely ever and wherever and plug in whenever you want.
I remember when I first started, I didn't actually have a laptop. I mean, physios back then didn't need a laptop. It was all notes, it was all pen and paper. But I had a phone, and I remember I did all of my early training with earphones and a phone, and just sat there when everyone else was watching telly. I'd sit and do my training plugged into my phone. So yeah. Easy as.
Lots of comments about the support coming up now, and obviously as well we have got the biggest team in the UK, so the trainings that we're doing are obviously working because we're helping a lot of people become successful, which we're very proud of, aren't we? So final question for you, Tina, is what if someone doesn't feel a very confident person?
I think this is quite common actually, and often people say to me, I don't know whether because maybe they perceive me as being a little bit gobby or something. They might say to me, "Oh, it's all well and good for you, but I don't feel I've got much confidence." And it's really important that people know it's not about having the confidence to go out there and do things that you don't want to do. This is very much a business that suits all personality types. You're not pushed to do anything you don't want to do. Your hand is held every step of the way, and we'll gently encourage people and certainly sort of to take little steps outside of their comfort zone. And a big thing for me, obviously 12 years ago, I wouldn't have sat here doing this online with you. No way.
Oh my God, nor would I. We're petrified of everything.
I feel like it's like watching the news almost, watching this. We could do GMTV. It's not even called that anymore, maybe. Anyway, I'm getting carried away with myself. So, your hand is held every step of the way. And I certainly found that I just kind of stepped outside of my comfort zone a little bit, and then a little bit more. But, everyone's different. And no, you're not pushed to do anything. And if your confidence isn't, sky high, that's absolutely fine. Lots of different people.
God, well, remember what I was like 15 years ago. Totally different person. And for those of you, some of you will have read my book, some of you wouldn't. So how social networking doubled my business. And it really shows me as that real unconfident person that has had panic attacks and all sorts. And the personal development is just blinking amazing. Well, thank you, Tina, for coming on to Nat's Natter this evening.
My pleasure.
And yeah, any questions for Tina, send them straight into her inbox, message below, and we'd love to answer them for you. And just think, who do you know that's a physio or working in that kind of industry like Tina, that you can just say, look, have a little look at this. It could be something that works for you. We have loads of people from the NHS with us as well. So
Definitely.
right, Tina, we're going to pass over to actually my sister, and your sister's in the business as well. It's funny how this starts, isn't it? From one to the other. So see you later.
See you later.
Over and out. And here is the younger version of myself.
Hi.
How you doing? So, well, tell everybody your story, because you were a nightmare.
Yeah, I definitely was. I was little Miss Stubborn, perhaps. Didn't want to listen to anything. Wouldn't let you or mum mention the business or anything about it while I was around. I just didn't want to know. Probably because I had a wedding dress shop, which I loved. I was really happy. That was all I could see at that time, because it was my world. And, you know, quite rightly, I suppose that was just the zone that I was in. Then I got married myself. Then kids came along very quickly. Before I knew it, I had 2. I then had to pay staff to run the shop because I wanted to be at home with Harry and Molly, being a mum. Was in there part-time, trying to juggle everything, be great at everything, and it sort of just became rather stressful and really expensive. You know, it was really expensive paying all the overheads of a traditional business, buying the stock. You know, you have to buy goodness knows how many wedding dresses 2 or 3 times a year. It's a big investment. And then, you know, just all the stress of making sure you sold them and that people came in and loved them. So I suppose I just started to see things a bit differently, because although that had been amazing for me at that part of my life, things had changed and my life had changed. You know, what I wanted had changed, and I wanted more time to be a mum, didn't want to put them in nursery, wanted to be there. So I remember coming round to your house, actually. You had just moved next door. I remember seeing you, you know, starting to get really nice cars through, working your business, meeting the people that you worked with. That was one of the massive things, because I thought, well, actually, you know, these people are just like me. They're not like my mum.
They weren't
not
all
there's anything
weirdos.
wrong with mum, but, you know, you kind of just think, oh, well, that's for them, not for me. So I just saw it in a completely different light, and I suppose, yeah, just timing. And
I guess it was just like
right,
me. Just like me, really, in that you were ready, whereas mum was talking to me for 10 years. You'd been around this business for 17 years, using the products all that time. But then finally, you just thought, actually, this is what I need right now. And how's your life now, Sam?
Do you know what? It's brilliant. I can honestly say I'm really quite content. I feel really grateful for that. It has allowed me to be a relaxed mum, to be there for them, to not miss, you know, school assemblies. I know at the moment we can't go into the Christingle services and things, which is horrible. But, you know, thankfully for the last 7 years, 9 years, I have been at all those things for both of my children and been a present mum. But also, you know, it's allowed me to be a role model, to show them work ethic, to have something of my own, to have that career path still, the independence, and to make loads of friends. And thank goodness I've had it through this last year, because I can honestly say, you know, the team around and everybody has just been incredible. It's so nice to have that community. And I think that's something that really...
yeah, albeit that would be very much an online community, but being able to catch up any time of day with someone has just been fab, hasn't it? Really, really good.
Absolutely.
I had something just coming out. Oh, yeah. So I know a lot of people say to us, well, oh, there's someone doing it in my area. Just explain to people our little setup.
Well, I live in a tiny little village in Oxfordshire. I have lived here since I was, I think, about 13. I moved here with my mum. I happened to fall in love with a guy who also lived in the same village, met him in the local pub. So I haven't moved very far away, neither has he. So we now live just up the lane from my mum and his mum. And then Natalie bought the house opposite us, what was it, maybe 4 or 5 years ago? So we are literally all a stone's throw away from each other. You know, we've all got our own networks. Yes, we know lots of the same people. And no, I couldn't sell products to my family or some of my closest friends because, you know, they're doing it and in it. But it absolutely doesn't stop you. There's so many people out there. We all know different people. We've all got slightly different paths of life, different places we socialize.
And there's what, 200 houses in our village, so you know, it's very, if that, so very small. So it's not about where you live and who's doing it, it's just literally letting us help you, hold your hand and show you what to do. So Sam, some of the questions that I know you've been asked, especially because, you know, you were in a sales background, if you like, being it with a shop, is, are there any sales targets?
Well, that's a really interesting question because you know, I am from a sales background, but that's also why I said no for such a long time, because I was so scared of selling. But the lovely thing is, you know what, you set your own targets. It's entirely up to you. You can choose how much or how little you want to do, which is why it works so well for so many people. There's no pressure.
Which is, you know, the beauty of it. So what would you say? So a lot of people just start with us, like I did, to earn a little bit of extra money promoting the products. And let's be honest, everybody we know brushes their teeth, uses deodorant. So you're just saying, look, switch the brand, try it, see how you get on. The products have a money back guarantee anyway, so it's a win-win situation. So what's the typical earnings of someone who just wants to retail a bit of product?
Typically, most of the people that we are working with who are retailing the products is around sort of £200 to £400 per month, which, you know, for using the products yourself, recommending them, with us helping you find your customers, you know, it's incredible. I mean, just think perhaps what that extra £200-400 could do for so many people, especially in the run up to Christmas and with the start of a new year coming up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Setting your goals now for next year. And finally, Sam, how much time do you think you need to be able to do this?
Most people tend to put in maybe 5 hours a week, 5 to 10 hours a week. Again, it's entirely up to you. I had a 3-month-old and a nearly 2-year-old when I started, so life was hectic. But I just, you know, put in an hour a day, perhaps when they were having a nap or in the evenings. Half the time you don't even realise that you're working because it's fun and it's sociable and it's on your terms. So again, you know, it's entirely up to you if you want to put in 1 hour a week or 20 hours a week.
Yeah, I know what it's like with having Phoebe. You know, she's only 3 now, and so many times you get home and I'm sat on my drive with Phoebe's asleep in a car seat with me catching up on my phone doing my work. So it's just those nuggets of time, isn't it?
Yeah, and you'll find, you're just like, you know, if you've got kids like us and you're on the school run, you'll probably find that it's the mums at school that will be your customers. So while you're on the school run, you're just dropping off your products there. So it's time that you don't, you know, you're multiplying that time.
Yeah, absolutely. Or people that are working a full-time job, which is going to take me on to our next little interview on Nat's Natter, which is a friend of mine who works full-time and does this alongside. So please, if you're listening in, any comments in the put your comments for Sam and give us some love hearts onto the screen to thank her for speaking with us. And now I'm going to introduce my lovely friend Kira Pauly. And Kira's all the way over in Ireland, so if you love an Irish accent, you're going to love listening to Kira. Kira, just tell everybody how we became connected and your little story.
Okay, hi Nat, thanks for having me on tonight. So Nat and I, we met about 4.5 years ago, just shortly after I was introduced to the business. And before that, I was working in a very stressful job as Deputy Director of a children's charity. And it was a job that I was very passionate about. It was a job that I had worked for over 25 years, building a career in. But it was a job where it meant that I came home, I was exhausted, I was like a wet rag, and I have two daughters at the time. One was 13 and the other was 9. And I was just not a present mum at all. I was just coming home absolutely shattered. And that, you know, at the time I was on a really, really good income, but there still didn't seem to be any money available because we did have a bit of debt. So when I was introduced by a friend to have a look at the business, I was very cynical. I have to say, I was very, very cynical. And I kind of thought it was one of those stupid things that people done. And I had a really, really good look at it. and I just couldn't believe it. So I have to say, I'm so glad that I did take a look.
Isn't it funny how people have this preconception about how it actually works? And, you know, people like yourself from a very corporate background, but they actually sit down, look at the business model, and it's totally different to what they think.
Oh my goodness, Nat. Honestly, to put in years and years of study and hard work to gain experience to get to the top of the ladder in your chosen field, just to realise that in a period of 6 to 8 months, I was in a position where I actually matched my corporate salary, working very, very part-time around my full-time job. It absolutely astounded me, but it actually gave me great hope. And it made me feel very, 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 very special insofar that I was able then to share this opportunity with other people who really see a way.
What difference did that make to your household, Kira, being able to have that extra like full-time income coming in as well as your full-time job?
Oh, Nat, we cleared £15,000 of debt in the first 10 months of signing into the business. And, you know, it suddenly gave us the opportunity to have a life back. It gave us the chance to choose to have holidays, to, you know, have better furniture in our homes, take the children out on day trips, you know, to make the decision that if my child came home and said, oh, Mommy, I would just love to have a new outfit to go out with my friends at the weekend, where I could turn around and say, yes, sweetheart, we are going to go and have a mum and daughter's day and we are going to treat you, because for a long time I wasn't in the position to do that just because things were that bit pressured. And suddenly I could see that there was another way to make an income. And for me, what was so special was that I didn't find it stressful, that it was fun. And there was a real...
You know, those, if you like, smaller things of being able to buy the outfit. But I know your daughter now is getting ready to look at universities. And, you know, what's your plan now for that?
Oh my goodness, Nat. First of all, just to say that after 10 months, I was able to come out of my career for 3 full years and just concentrate and be at home at a time when there was a few tragedies in life, and it meant that I could be around my family when they really, really needed me. And now I pick up and do consultancy work. But what it gives me, and what it still gives me, is time to spend with my 2 children. And as you say, my daughter's going off to university next year. So I have this time that I'm never going to get back again. So now I'm able to start to put a bit of money away to kind of help her, you know, with her fees and her accommodation. And also, you know, she's learning how to drive. And so there's all those extra expenses coming up as well, you know.
So it's handy to have that extra coming in. So a few questions, Kira, that I know you've had a lot. One of them being, do I need to leave my job?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, I was able to build this up in the pockets of time. So depending on whether you have maybe 5 to 10 hours a week, or maybe you might have that full time available to work the business, it's entirely up to you, because our company, as you know, Sam said, there's no targets, so you can really make it suit you because you have control over it. It's amazing. It's your own business.
At the end of the day, the whole industry of network marketing is based on people working full time and doing it as a second income stream. Most people aren't joining to leave their job. They're joining to get an extra 200 quid a month to pay for Christmas, or to pay off the credit card, or to go on a holiday, should we ever be allowed to get on a plane again.
Oh my word. You know, one of the girls that I work with, her son decided at the end of the summer that he was getting married in October. And through her network marketing business, she was able to earn a couple of £1,000 that she was able to take her whole family to another country for that wedding. And because her son had actually moved from Ireland over to England. So without that, that wouldn't have been possible. And that's the magic of network marketing. It's that little bit of income that just makes life a little bit more livable and a bit more fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. So another, do you need to have loads and loads of customers? Are you running around Ireland with products?
Oh, no, not at all. And when I started, this was my fear as well, because I have never sold anything in my life, and it actually terrified me a little bit. But very quickly, I found if you just had an interest in helping people and just recommending the products that you liked, you know, we have over 300 products in our company's product range. So, you know, there's going to be ones that become your immediate favorite. And it's just like eating out in your favorite restaurant, not. You just recommend those products to your friends or people that you meet that you know that's going to benefit them. And, you know, 20 to 30 customers is going to help you bring that additional £200 to £400 in a month. And the lovely thing is people just keep coming back because they're consumable and they order them again and again and again because they absolutely work.
A good example is to say to everyone listening in, what are you recommending on Netflix at the moment? That's what everyone's doing. You see it on Facebook all the time. What are you watching on Netflix? Pop it in the comments, people. You know, and that's all we do. We recommend a product that we love, like you recommend something that you watch, a restaurant that you eat in, and the company pay us for doing that because our company do not advertise. We don't have stores, so they save on all those overheads to be able to pay the business owners, because we do that literally by opening our mouths and talking to people. We are the advert. So finally, Kira, a lot of people do say it sounds too good to be true. Does it really work? Are we real?
Well, 5 years later, Nat, you know, I'm sitting here, I'm as passionate about the company. Our company has been going for 43 years, so it's got huge, strong foundations and it's growing year upon year. I think we've been in the UK and Ireland now for 27 years and it's growing year upon year. You know, it's just an amazing company. But yes, people may see people earning a certain amount of money, but it's like any job, any hobby, the time and effort that you put in, you're going to get the reward for. So the more effort you put into your business, the more return you're going to get on your investment.
Absolutely. It's like anything, isn't it? And, you know, traditional businesses, you're investing thousands and thousands in to get up and running. Most of them, you're not going to get paid straight away on your first month like you are within our company. And it's literally less than £200 to get started. And if you don't like it, you get your money back. So you've literally got absolutely nothing to lose. There's loads of comments coming up on Netflix recommendations. So everyone doing that, you would be able to do this because we're doing it now. So anyone listening in, wherever you are around the world, because we're in 160 countries worldwide, if you want to just find out a little bit more, message any of us or whoever has shared this, because we've got a little information group. You can pop yourselves in, or we can send you a private message with a video, whatever suits you, or you can have a chat with one of us and we'll just show you how it works, the business plan. And at the end of the day, you'll either like it or you won't. Or probably the more honest way is to think is it'll either be for you now or not. A bit like me, my sister, Tina. Not everyone gets started straight away like Kira does. So anyway, any questions, let us know. Thank you, ladies, for joining in. So let's bring Tina back. I don't know if my sister is still there or not. She's on her phone, so not. But anyway, nice to see you, ladies. Give everyone oh, there she is there. Give everyone a cheer. Give them some love hearts, emojis to say thank you for giving up their time and entertaining you this evening. And let us know what are the questions you would love to know and who you'd love to hear from. Incidentally, tonight we are all women, but there are loads of guys in our teams as well. And any questions, we will bring it to you this time next week with a few more special guests. So thanks, ladies. And it's an absolute pleasure working with you and your groups. And see you tomorrow on the Power Hour on Zoom at 9:30.
Bye.
Bye. Yeah.